Do the math with me for a second. If you work a normal job, you will spend roughly 90,000 hours of your life at it. That's not a guess, it's the average. 90,000 hours, gone to a schedule someone else built for you. Now here's the part that should bother you. For almost the entire time humans have existed, that number was closer to zero. Not because people were lazy, because the job, as a concept, hadn't been invented yet. 300,000 years. That's roughly how long Homo sapiens has existed. For about 99% of that time, there was no boss, no paycheck, no career ladder, nothing resembling what we now call work. So anthropologists went looking for an answer to an obvious question. Without jobs, how did people actually spend their time? In 1963, a researcher named Richard Lee tracked the daily routines of a hunter-gatherer community in Botswana and found something startling. They spent around 17 hours a week gathering food. Roughly 2.5 days. The rest of the week belonged to them. If that were a fluke, it wouldn't matter much. It isn't. Researchers found the same pattern in Tanzania, in Paraguay, in the Australian outback. Completely different climates, different diets, different continents, and the same number kept showing up. 15 to 20 hours a week spent on pure survival. Less than half of what most people now spend at a desk. Skeptical that modern hunter-gatherers tell us anything about the deep past? Fair. So look at the skeletons instead. Compare the bones of early farmers to the bones of the hunter-gatherers who came before them, and the difference is almost embarrassing. Farmers were shorter. Their teeth were wrecked by grain-heavy diets. Their spines carried the damage of repetitive labor. Hunter-gatherer skeletons tell the opposite story. Taller frames, healthier teeth, joints that held up. Whatever they were doing with their extra time, it wasn't more physical labor.
So what should they do with it? The evidence is, honestly, kind of beautiful. In a cave in South Africa, archaeologists found shell beads, roughly 100,000 years old, deliberately drilled, clearly meant to be worn. The nearest shoreline was 20 kilometers away. Somebody walked there and back just to look good. In Germany, researchers uncovered a 40,000-year-old flute carved from a bird bone with finger holes spaced precisely enough to play actual notes. Not a tool for hunting, an instrument. And deep inside a cave in France, explorers found paintings of horses and lions dating back roughly 30,000 years, rendered with shading, proportion, motion. Not scratches, craftsmanship, made by firelight for no practical reason at all. None of that happens if every waking hour is spent fighting to survive. Piece together a realistic day, and it looks almost suspiciously relaxed.
Mornings might involve a hunt. And yes, humans are freakishly good at this, able to chase prey for hours in the heat, using sweat to outlast animals that overheat first. A hunt like that could take half a day, but it didn't happen daily. If food was already stored, the morning might just mean fixing a tool, softening a hide, or doing nothing structured at all. No supervisor checking in, because there wasn't one. By early afternoon, the productive part of the day was usually already done. What filled the rest of the day is the part modern life makes almost impossible to imagine. People, just people, spending time with each other. One anthropologist studying a hunter-gatherer community clocked roughly 6 hours a day of pure social time, talking, grooming, playing with kids, doing nothing that looked like labor at all. That wasn't laziness either. In a world with no police, no contracts, and no bank account, your relationships were your safety net.
If people didn't like you, they didn't feed you when you were starving. So people invested in each other the way we now invest in careers. Here's a strange detail. Researchers who recorded conversations around hunter-gatherer campfires found that daytime talk was almost entirely practical, where the animals were, who wasn't sharing fairly. But at night, over 80% of conversation shifted to something else entirely. Myths, stories about ancestors, jokes, ideas about how the world began. One researcher argued that this, not agriculture, not tools, is where human culture was actually born. And sleep wasn't even a single block back then. Historical records suggest people slept in 2 separate phases, with a quiet waking hour of reflection in between, something modern sleep patterns erased entirely. So what wrecked all of this? Around 10,000 years ago, in the Fertile Crescent, people started farming. And farming is, in a very real sense, a trap.
More food grown means more mouths fed, means more people, means more food needed, means more farming. A one-way door that locks behind you. Skeletons from this era confirm it. Early farmers worked harder, ate worse, and died younger than the hunter-gatherers before them. But there was no going back. Populations had already outgrown the old way of living. So next time 90,000 hours feels normal, remember it isn't. It's just what happened after the trap closed. For most of the time humans have existed, a person wasn't measured by output. They were already, by default, enough, with nothing to prove and the whole afternoon still ahead of them.